All right. Hi there, Dr. Smith. My name is Jordan Woodward, and the article I chose for this presentation is Resolving Racial Ambiguity in Social Interactions. A little bit of background on this research is there isn't much background on it. There's a little bit of research that is examining social interaction practices between sexual orientation and between white and black people where their racial identity is known. Ambiguous means that it is a situation is unclear. You have a level of uncertainty towards the subject. So someone's racial ambiguity means when a white person looks at someone who looks like me and can't quite tell if I'm black or if I'm biracial. Resolving this uncertainty could leave a positive effect on a social interaction, and that's what the entire research is about for this study. They used 4 factors to approach examining this issue. The first was one's level of cognitive depletion. They used that, they found that out by using a Stroop test. Stroop test is a test you take on the computer that assesses your cognitive ability. For example, they will have a word that says blue, but the font is in red, and you're supposed to report red. So it's how well you can follow directions. A second factor is facial memory. People usually recognize and remember people's faces within their own race more than in race that is not of their own. So people usually put these perceptions into social categorizations. For example, a white person might see a mixed individual or biracial individual in a janitorial outfit and think that they are a black person. They'll put them into that social category. It's very sad. But a white person would look at the same mixed or biracial person in a business suit and socially categorize them more with their in-group, which is the white community. A third factor is social behavioral tendencies. So many have reported that white people feel anxious when making social interactions with a person of color due to the anxieties or fear that they are going to be viewed or perceived as prejudice. I understand why that is going on, especially with all the depolicing and Black Lives Matter movement and the media. It's a lot. So I can understand why the white people who do not, identify with the things we're seeing in the media feel that way. The fourth factor they use to examine this issue is endorsement of racial essentialist beliefs. I was a little bit confused about what essentialist beliefs are, but when I looked more into it, I found out that they are people who have smaller variation within groups. So it's more like a stereotyping thing. If you're looking at the Black community, you see a lot of them have dreadlocks, big lips, fried chicken. They like fried chicken. White people, they have theirs, baseball, whatever. But what you see there is that people fall into these specific things that they think correlate with everyone in that community. But reducing essentialist beliefs would be, searching for different variations within the same group. Alrighty. I don't know if this isn't loading. Here we go. All right, so for our study, for the method section and for the participants, they used 200 white undergraduate students. They were compensated for course credit. They're broken into 2 different semesters, so the participants in each semester are the same. So there's reliability there. 130 out of the 200 were randomly assigned to either the biracial specified condition or the race unspecified condition. The condition had a little bit of ambiguity there. 70 out of the 200 people were assigned to a Black specified conditions. It was very clear that the Confederate here was a Black individual. Our final sample size came down to 147 people. They excluded people when they found out that certain participants knew each other because it was a smaller campus, or if the participant had previous knowledge about the subject already. For the procedure, let's see here if this will load. First part of the procedure was that the participants were greeted by an experimenter who was not Black. The participants were obviously blind to the study. They thought that they were there to be the participants of a social interaction based off of first impressions, to see how those first impressions affect social interactions. Next, they exchanged basic demographic information. They were given a form where they would fill out their gender, their major, their age, all these demographic information, but half of the participants did not get the question on their form that asked about their race. The experimenter then brought the participant's partner in the room. Sorry about this. The participants were then asked, the Confederate read out a scripted question, like, what is your definition of racial diversity, in order to spark some conversation there. And the Confederates left after the interaction. The participants completed a Stroop task to measure cognitive depletion. Participants then completed a post-interaction questionnaire that asked about their engagement, how much they thought their partner enjoyed the conversation, if they had tense feelings or not, and most importantly, their anxiety. Participants were then asked to draw their partner. They actually had a set of crayons that were special for multiracial people. The crayon set had colors that had a lot of variation in skin tone. The purpose of this exercise was to see how well someone could remember their partner visually. After that, the participants completed a short demographics form, including an 8-item measure of racial essentialist beliefs. For example, one statement said, to a large extent, a person's race biologically determines his or her abilities or traits. The scale I provided in this presentation was incorrect. The scale is 1, not at all, to actually 7, very much. Sorry about that. A little bit more information. They had nonverbal coders who were also blind to the experiment. They actually weren't present. They just saw video footage of the participant and not the Confederate. They also had drawing coders, people who were more proficient in rating their drawings and skin tone accuracy. They were also not present during the experiment. They were given photos that had been tested by 40 adults that tested for attractiveness and racial ambiguity. And you can see the scales there below. Table 1 is representing the participants' ratings for all the different emotions, the Confederates' ratings for all their different emotions, nonverbal behavior, all those things we were looking for in the study. So for the results of this experiment, participant self-reported traits had no correlation, along with nonverbal coding. For the Stroop test, white participants in the biracial specified condition exhibited less post-interaction cognitive depletion than participants in the race unspecified condition. Racial essentialism, participants in both the Black specified and the race unspecified conditions were significantly higher in racial essentialism after the interaction than participants in the biracial specified condition. For the Confederates, the participants in the biracial specified condition were perceived as less anxious and more enthusiastic, and as enjoying the interaction more compared to participants in the race unspecified condition, and this isn't included here, and the Black specified condition. For the results for the nonverbal behavior, participants in the biracial specified condition were also rated as moving their bodies more naturally, smiling more, and they appeared to enjoy the interaction more than the participants in the race unspecified condition and the Black condition. For the drawing section, participants in the biracial specified condition drew more accurate representations of their interaction partners than the participants in the race unspecified condition. For white individual, basically, when they're interacting with a person of color, knowing their exact racial identity has a positive impact on the social interaction by resolving visual ambiguity. It improves the memory of that individual and can reduce the anxieties of being viewed as a prejudiced individual. Why does this matter? It addresses prejudice concerns. It's understandable that people in the white community, those who don't identify with the ones with unfortunate behavior, feel like they are causing a Black person to think that they are a part of that group, which they are not. So it addresses some of those hardships that we're struggling with now in 2021. It also provides a great way to decrease essentialist beliefs and a way to guide more positive interactions between races. So that is why this study mattered. I have linked a TikTok that I thought was kind of interesting. So it's in the background part of this presentation. Sorry about that. And I encourage you to watch it. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.